The sun hung low in the sky like a bloodshot eye, casting long shadows over the arid expanse of the Arizona Territory in the year 1872. Dust devils danced across the cracked earth, whipping up fine particles that stung the eyes and choked the throat. Eliza Harper clutched her infant son, Caleb, to her chest as the stagecoach rattled along the rutted trail, its wooden wheels groaning under the strain of the journey from Santa Fe to Tucson. She was a widow at 23, her husband felled by a fever that had swept through their homestead like a biblical plague, leaving her with nothing but a few meager possessions, a ticket west, and the fragile bundle in her arms. Caleb's tiny fingers grasped at her shawl, his soft coos a fragile melody against the harsh symphony of the desert. Eliza's heart ached with a mixture of grief and hope. Tucson promised a fresh start with her sister's family, a chance to rebuild amid the saguaro cacti and the promise of silver mines. But the trail was treacherous, riddled with bandits and Apache raids, and every jolt of the coach reminded her of her vulnerability. Inside the cramped cabin, she shared the space with a grizzled prospector named Silas, who puffed on a corncob pipe and muttered about lost fortunes, and a prim schoolteacher from Boston, Miss Abigail Thorne, who clutched her Bible like a talisman against the wild unknown. The driver, a weathered man called Red, cracked his whip overhead, urging the team of horses onward, while the shotgun rider, young and twitchy, scanned the horizon with a rifle across his lap. Eliza prayed silently for safe passage, her lips moving without sound as she rocked Caleb gently, his warmth a anchor in the storm of her uncertainties. As the afternoon wore on, the landscape shifted from flat scrubland to jagged canyons, their red rock walls rising like ancient sentinels. The air grew hotter, thicker, and Eliza wiped sweat from her brow, her dress clinging uncomfortably to her skin. Silas regaled them with tales of ghost towns and buried treasure, his voice a gravelly rumble that filled the silence. Miss Thorne responded with verses from Psalms, her tone prim and unyielding, as if scripture could ward off the dangers lurking beyond the coach's thin walls. Caleb fussed intermittently, his cries piercing the monotony, and Eliza hushed him with soft whispers, feeding him from a small bottle of goat's milk she'd procured at the last way station. The journey had already stretched longer than anticipated, delayed by a broken axle the day before, and nerves were fraying. Red shouted warnings from above about rough patches ahead, but nothing prepared them for the sudden ambush that shattered the fragile peace. It came without warning, a volley of gunfire echoing off the canyon walls, the horses rearing in panic as bullets whizzed through the air. The shotgun rider fired back wildly, but a sharp crack felled him from his perch, his body tumbling to the dust below. The coach lurched to a halt.